If I told you you could not only wake up your buns and make them look better, but also make your back feel better, would you be interested? If so, stay tuned for some simple exercises. Hey guys, Dr. Christy Ennis. Today I am going to help you turn on those glutes. Woo woo. In today's day and age, sit happens. And when sit happens, our butts don't. So hip flexors get tight, glutes shut off, and it's this terrible vicious cycle. So our first exercise is actually gonna work on both of those parts. And this is an important one to do first. So you've probably seen the traditional hip flexor stretch, but this is a little bit of a twist on it. So you're gonna start in a kneeling position, and if we're working on this right leg here, I'm actually gonna make sure that I get back to the wall so that I have my foot in contact with that wall. Other leg will go forward. It's okay if you need to hang on to something. It's not about balance today, but by having your foot on the wall and actually pressing into the wall, you now actually get those glutes to already start working a little, which then conversely will help stretch out the hip flexors. And then when the hip flexors stretch out a little, the glutes work a little bit better. See how happy that cycle is instead of a vicious one? So once you're in this position, you want to do a tiny bit of a pelvic tuck. And then again, you're going to press that foot into the wall, keeping that foot pushed into the wall. We're going to keep that pelvic tuck too, and then we're going to come forward. I don't need to go any further than this to get a stretch and to get an activation. You're gonna pause for a few seconds and then let it go. So we're kind of doing a little rock with this right now. And you should feel lots of things working. So shoot for about 10 to 15 repetitions here. Now that things are a little looser, starting to work a little bit, this next one will be even easier. So you are, and this is gonna sound funny, but you're gonna kick your own butt. You're gonna start by doing this to get that nervous system really engaged. And now those glutes are gonna wanna work even more. After giving yourself a little smack, you're gonna work on really squeezing both of those butt cheeks together so that you know that they're working. And then here comes the tricky part. Now you're gonna try to isolate one side, whoop, then the other. It's like pecs of love, but glutes of love. This one takes a little practice and coordination, but again, doing those first things first actually help you to be able to do this. All right, now that things are hopefully working a little bit, we're gonna engage some other glute muscles in there as well. So you're gonna lie right on your back. You can do this on the floor or on your bed, whichever you're comfiest doing. Heels are gonna go together and toes are gonna go apart. You're gonna let those knees open up a little bit, again, to engage some other part of those glute muscles. Hands down by your side, little pelvic tuck, and then a squeeze and lift. You're gonna lift as high as you can without arching into that spine or that rib cage. Now, if you do this and you feel like your hamstrings are just working too hard, although this foot position actually does help that too, but another little tip you can use is think about pushing your feet away. Don't actually slide out, but if you push your feet away, you actually engage in those quads a little bit, which turns off the hamstrings. Pretty awesome. And then those glutes can work even harder. So you want to go to fatigue on this, which for most people, especially starting out, is somewhere between 15 to 20 reps. The next exercise in our lineup is really going to work that glute medius and glute minimus as well, so our side butts. So you're going to lie on your side, again, on the bed or on the floor. We want to make sure that we are in a straight line as we do this exercise. So I usually have people start with their legs straight, rolled all the way onto your hip. And when you look down, you can wave your feet a little bit, and that's pretty much all you should see, your feet and a little bit of your leg. If you see a lot of your legs are too far forward. So from here, without moving the hips forward, you're gonna bend those knees. Those feet are gonna stay together, glued together, and then that top knee is going to lift up. Now, you wanna make sure that you only lift as high as you can without rolling backwards, which just starting out, it may not be very much, and that's okay. Same idea with you wanna work to fatigue, which again, typically is about 15 to 20. If this one does seem a little bit easy for you, if you think about lengthening that top leg out, so now my top foot is a little bit forward, and then add that knee lift, even without equipment, this is definitely more challenging. And do make sure that you do both sides. Our last exercise is an advanced version of stretching and strengthening, so make sure you do the other ones first and leave this one for the end. So I'm gonna take one leg in back of me, do that little pelvic tuck and glute squeeze now that things are working. to stretch out that hip flexor. And then from there, it's the opposite side that I'm gonna take and shift my hips back. And now the other leg, those glutes are working. So it's come up, little tilt, and then that front leg actually does the work. So I'm gonna switch it up so you can see me here too. So little pelvic tuck, and then really shift it back. And notice I have my hands holding down by my side, because if you want to make this more challenging, you go ahead and you can use some dumbbells. And if you are looking for some more glute exercises, I will link those for you as well. Now, because this one is a little bit more advanced, you usually can do a little bit fewer repetitions. I'm tired. Repetitions to get that burn. So just pay attention to that. Typically, that's around 10 or so, and you should get a lovely glute burn and a lovely stretch.